But why exactly was textbook count initiated?
Well, in the 90s, the Department of Education in the Philippines was accused of corruption in the field of textbook procurement. Three forms were suspected. First, officials awarding overpriced contracts to suppliers. Second, the suppliers were not honoring their contracts as there were many undelivered textbooks after the government paid for them. And third, the quality of textbooks were very poor with missing pages, misprints, and the like. As a reform to answer these problems, the department encouraged civil society organizations to engage themselves in monitoring the service in the education sector. A consortium of over 30 CSOs such as good governance groups, education-oriented groups, faith-based organizations, and student and youth groups were brought together by the Government Watch of the Ateneo School of Government. The CSOs were expected to participate in the stages of procurement process. First, they are observers of the pre-bid conference, bidding, and post-qualification process. Next, they partake in the quality control in warehouses and printing presses. And third, they become on-the-spot monitors during actual deliveries. In the first stage of the procurement process, the volunteers monitor the entire stage of the bidding process. Here, they observe the opening of the tenders and the evaluation of their contract, the pre-award deliberations, and the issuance of contracts. The volunteers also examine those submitting bids had compiled all requirements. Bidders must comply with the financial and technical eligibility criteria before submitting bids.
After the suppliers were chosen, GWatch and DepEd organized volunteers to visit the printing press of the suppliers and inspect the production. Volunteers are armed with a preset checklist for their visits. This is to ensure that textbooks are of good quality before the delivery. Finally, delivery of books were underway. Before DepEd required suppliers to synchronize their delivery schedules, suppliers would only provide DepEd a general time frame, causing delays of deliveries. Volunteers were already in the delivery point. This put pressure on the suppliers to be on schedule.
34 CSOs were enlisted in the consortium. These include anti-corruption and good governance advocacy groups, education-oriented alliances, faith-based Christian-Muslim organizations, and student-youth sector groups. The DepEd signed separate memoranda of agreement with the Coca-Cola Bottlers Philippines Incorporated and the Katipunan ng Mga Anak ng Bayan Community Development Initiative for the distribution of textbooks in hard-to-reach areas.
The Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts of the Philippines accepted the responsibility of taking the lead in the mobilization of volunteers. They called up their councils and concerned regions for the mobilization of scouts in the schools that would receive the textbook deliveries. There were 49 Boy Scouts councils and another 49 Girl Scout councils nationwide that serve as local coordinators. From the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, 4,974 adult volunteer monitors were enlisted.
Created using Powtoon.